Thank you. Thank you, Chloe. Happy to be here. Thanks everyone for tuning in. My name is LiLi Gao, and I'm a co-founder for One Up Party. We started this business 6 years ago, and then now we are in major city in Canada to deliver helium balloons, all sort of balloon decorations, and floral and cakes. We work with local vendors, and we also have a DSP program. It's sort of like a franchising, but we work with local delivery service provider that are joining our network to offer balloon decorations, florals, and cakes to streamline everything onto one platform so customer can easily order online just under 5 clicks. And just about a year ago, we expanded our outreach to Los Angeles. That's our first city in the US. So it's been going really well. It's really exciting to see different markets, how different markets react to our service and product market fit. So yeah, so happy to be here. Thanks for joining. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you, Lily, for sharing your experience with us. Growing your business from Canada to US is a really challenging process. And I believe that our audience are really excited to learn more about you and your journey and how to grow your business at that bay. So, I want to know what inspired you to start your company, and is there any a more specific moment that sparked your idea?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to start with a story time. I always like to storytell because it's fun. So it actually happened to myself. I have a really good cousin that I grew up with. We both grew up in China, and we haven't seen each other for quite a long time, 10 years. She lives in Australia, I live in Canada. So it was her birthday, and I was trying to send something, something really impactful, not just like one bouquet of helium balloons, because I don't think that's enough. And I don't want to send just a single flower because I don't feel that's enough. I want a more like a wow factor to surprise her with category products. So, like a normal human, I opened up my laptop and then started Googling on Google best balloon delivery in Australia and then best flower delivery in Australia, best cake delivery in Australia. And then I spent like pretty much my whole day on the internet looking at Google reviews, calling vendors, and coordinating logistics. And still on the day of the delivery, it was a nightmare. It was very, very bad. So that's a moment where I saw there it's a broken system in the celebration space because it's a disjoint and extremely different prices between different vendors. And there's not really they don't have a functional website. I can just easy order things online because I know nowadays people have busy lives. I don't want to spend hours for online gifting. And they have really low quality of the customer service experience. So I feel really, really bad. And all of this put together, it just gave me a really sparked my mind, say, hey, I got something here. That's how I started One Up. I wanted to make celebrating people easier and then modern and then at a more scalable level. So yeah, so that's how I started One Up.
So the thing is, like, you pay a lot of attention on how you have aware that the entire market didn't have a good system in here, so it triggered you to create a business.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's because when you think about if you let's just think about for today, like if you want to order balloon with a flower, there's not really a dominant player in the market where it comes to your mind besides going to Party City to get balloons, then go to a local flower shop to get flowers. So it's a very stressful experience. So that's why we created one app platform to streamline everything all together under just 5 clicks.
Yeah, I do think that I guess most of our audience have experience to giving a gift and struggling where to find the resources and where to get
Yeah.
it. I think
Hmm.
this is a really good strategy to bring things together. So people just click a button online. It's like, oh, you
Yep,
can
it's
already
all
order,
done.
yeah, and then you ship it to your home directly.
Exactly.
So for when you start your own business, for the first few months, how does it look like for you? Is there any unexpected, funny, or tough moment in your mind?
Yeah, that's a really deep question. I mean, entrepreneurship is hard. I can't remember each day how it was, but I know it was really, really dark at the very beginning because you are the builder. You go in the trenches, build everything yourself from the ground. It was it was chaos with with a purpose though. But the experience was like balloons will start popping, and then you need to figure out logistics. You were the delivery driver, and then all of a sudden you're the customer support, and late deliveries and the note margins. You got to figure out inventory. It was a lot of learning for me, but it was fun. Learn with, but one of the things that I have to learn is you have to learn to love the problems because they're the tuition for your entrepreneurship. Customer calling wanted to speak with the man. What I still remember, customer calling us is like, I want to speak to a manager because I have this kind of problems. And then you have to, say, hey, okay, hold on for a second. Let me call my manager. And then wait a couple seconds. And then you're still the manager, pick up the phone, say, hey, I'm the manager, Lily. How can I help you? So it's kind of like, you got to see a lot of different things melting together. But it's fun. It's all about entrepreneurship. If that's how you build the real business.
Yeah, I understand that. It must be a really chaotic. Even it's the first time when you start your own thing. It's like
Yeah.
it's really about not only about yourself, it's also about your career, about your future. It's a really
Hmm.
stressful moment though.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there anything that is like, is there any specific thing, moment that is not really go as planned, but it end up as a really valuable learning experience? Is there anything you can share to your audience?
Yeah, absolutely. I always love to, give stories so that it really resonates with the audience. So I'm gonna give another story. So when we first started our business, we open up our store. We are a party balloon shop. We need helium, we need balloons, we need all of these kind of supplies. So as a normal business, you go to your local supplier, you start Googling wholesaling like business or wholesaling balloons or wholesale party supplies, you get it from your local supplier. And I remember it was during a Valentine's Day, one of the busiest day in our whole year. Valentine's Day, people need red balloons, red hearts, a lot of like different kind of things, but specifically red colors. And then I still remember I did pre-order from local wholesale supplier ahead of time. But then clearly remember on the day that we showed up, the wholesaler was telling me at the door, say, hey, like we underestimate the order quantity and we ran out of red balloons. And then it was a really, really detrimental moment for me because, I have customer on the other side placed a lot of order with us, and I just don't have the red balloons. So it was a lesson for me to learn. But then from there, what I learned is you have to build backup plans for everything. So you have to plan for wars in time of peace. And then that's where it spikes my our minds is we have to go in, source our own manufacturing of the party supplies and then balloons, all the resources, because you have to be in control of your own supply chains, because the less control that you have over your supply chains, and you are at a risk of someone else's mercy because they can say, oh, I don't have these, and because I don't have accurately like tracking my inventories, so you are short of this, but you have customer on the other side that you have to serve. So that's why we decide to, what, we have to go in our own manufacturing to source these balloons and party supplies to make sure that I do have all the supplies at all times. So that's one of the things. And then that mistake made us to be a system first thinker, where because we want to potentially sell our company and then have an exit for our company. One of the things that we know is the investor, they don't buy business without a system. If your business is not built on a system, there's nothing to sell. It's like there's two type of business. One is the business owner build a day-to-day job for themselves, there's a lot of on the street that you see. At the end of the day, the business owners still in the store, day to day, they're really tiring, monitoring everything, coordinating anything, everything. But there's on the other side, people build a company that it wants to sell, wants to exit, like wants to scale national wide. So there's a kind of like two different type of business that exists in this world. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the system you mentioned just now, as we cannot only rely on the supplier because sometimes it's
Hmm.
like it's not your company, so you cannot control
Exactly. Yeah.
them.
Hmm.
It's really hard for this. So I'm glad that you have realize it at the first year you did and you realize it, or like
I would say we waited for the second year.
okay.
So the first year it was kind of like because it was a really big commitment for us because it's a not only a cash flow game, it's also you have to plan it strategically. As a small business back then, we are still technically a small business, but every single penny that it goes into inventory, marketing, you gotta plan like ahead of time. So it was a big commitment for us. So the first year we kind of just wing it. We were like, okay, everyone else is doing it, so we are following whatever the pattern that needs to be done. We believe that was a correct way to do business. But then we realized, hey, like all these my competitors like technically is the local balloon shop, right? But we did a market research. They've been around for 20, 30 years. They have one store. They can't scale their business nationwide. The owner's still in the store. So the traditional way of running this business, the business model is wrong. So we're like, we have to be different. We have to do something else beyond just running the day-to-day operations. So that's where we realize we have to tap in the manufacturing of the product. We have to, get our foot into the retailers for big box retailers, all these kind of things to catch the momentum.
Yeah, you mentioned that you have to build a lot of things at the very beginning, and I do think that as an entrepreneur, as a like new who are audience, or most of them are newcomers who want to become an entrepreneur later on, it will be a big trouble with a financial problem. So, do you have any strategy for your company? How to get the financial support and how to like build it like step by step.
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's not a mystery. So of course you need to start with some bit of the savings. How people usually start is they have a full-time job and then on the side they work on the side hustle, what we call the 9 to 5. You still need a 9 to 5. Like some people just quit 9 to 5 and then just solely focusing on this business. I think it's impractical. But I had support from my parents from the very beginning. I borrowed $5,000 from my parents to start this business. And I gave it myself a timeline, say, hey, if this doesn't work out in a year, or if I don't have paying customers, or I don't find a product market fit within a certain time frame, then it's probably not meant for this. So, and what I want to mention is there's also a lot of government grants that's available for small business. And then there's great, grants platforms like online where you can apply the grants on your own. And then because at the very beginning, there's not a lot of capital to deploy. So there's very nimble ways to get capital. And then I will say the last thing is what I have to learn is you have to learn different aspect. Like borrowing money from the bank is one of the things, but that's the hardest one to borrow from the bank. And then you would have to also learn about the grants, like how to apply for the grants, but it takes a lot of time. And then usually the grants in BC and in Canada, they have to let you up from the money first, and then they give you a reimbursement. And usually that time really lags like 6 months later or a year later. A lot of people just want to get the capital now. So if that's the case, the grants is not possible to do that. And then the lastly, I will say is you still have options to raise money. If you got something great, not only people are saying like, oh, you can only raise money if you're a tech company, if you're a SaaS company. That's not true. So there's a lot of different markets to how you can raise money. You can go to pitch competitions, talk with VCs. One of the things that I would suggest is building relationship with people that you resonate with, like whether they're angel investor or they're a VC firm or something like that. I would say the other thing I had to learn is you have to build people relationship first before you do business because we are all humans, right? Angel investor or VC firms, they're all humans. So we all need to build some sort of relationships, and then you need to find the people that you really resonate with their mindset, and don't take money from the people that you guys don't see the business in the future together, have different mindset. Even if you take the money and then it's just gonna be a really bad raising money experience.
think that is a really good point that be friend with everyone. Don't have
Yeah, basically, yeah.
because I know that networking is for any industry, not only for an entrepreneur.
Yep.
Uh, any industry, networking is really important if you want to success in Canada. So this is a big lesson I'm still figuring out, but I'm so happy that you are success in your way, and also you're here after you get support from your parents. You didn't waste it. You didn't like lose everything. You're still here. You're still growing the business. It's really happy to see that.
Yeah,
So yeah, sorry.
yeah, I was gonna also add on is um don't be scared to open up the conversations with strangers because you never know what that conversation is going to lead to. Because I had one of the experience is, I was traveling on the airplane and then someone was sitting beside me. Usually I don't talk to strangers, but I just start reading books, reading things online, reading things on LinkedIn. Like I'm trying to educate myself on these kind of like social skills. So I just start randomly talking to the person next to me on the airplane, and then they ended up to be one of the buyers from one of the big retail chains. So you never know what the person sitting beside you or the conversation that you're about to have is going to lead to. Maybe it's going to change your life. You never know.
Yeah, life is full of unexpectancy.
Yes, exactly.
Well, just now you mentioned you only have 5,000 bucks for the initial investment. So I
Mhm.
want to know with this kind of small investment, how can you build the marketing strategy on it? Because I know as business when it's really small, it is so hard to like get people to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say with limited amount of capital to start, you would have to, like I said, you have to plan to use every single dollar at its maximum, like utilize it at a maximum capacity. So treat a dollar as $100 to use. So really think before you spend the money. And then really give yourself a timeline. I wouldn't say like business plan is great and all, but to be honest, like I never wrote a business plan at the very beginning when I started the business because I do feel like I need to find a product market fit. I need to have paying customers to prove that I do have something here before I put it into a hard structure of the business. Say, hey, let's sit down, write a like a 50 pages business plan, and let's actually plan things out. Because if you don't have a paying customer, I would say even if something that it's your dream to build this business or product or service, if you don't have a customer wanting to pay you for the money to get your product or your service, I would say you probably need to shift your focus to something else, or maybe build something else, or iterate, like pivot the business model, pivot the product, like just keep tuning the product or services. So yeah, so that's one of the things that I've done. And then the second thing is explore. You mentioned marketing. Nowadays, the marketing is really competitive. I would say at the very beginning, just to be very, very scrappy, you have to build your own brand. So who is how to build your own brand? You are your own brand. So a lot of business owners like try to create reels, like try to show behind the scenes. One of the one of the things that we realize over the years of being doing marketing on social media, all of this, we've tried a lot of different methods. One of the things when you are start or where you are starting early, try to not focusing on marketing your product. You need to find surroundings, whatever it's related to advertise. For example, I'll give you guys an example. We are in the balloon party industry. At the very beginning, we are just focusing on advertising our product, like balloon bouquets, flowers, like cakes, all of these kind of stuff. No one's really interested. Like Red Bull doesn't just post videos about their product because customers have 3 seconds when they see the video or see the post. You have 3 seconds to grab their attention. So you have to be like post some like memes like emojis or like dancing in the balloon shop making balloons or things that people would really resonate with. So we stopped advertising just for our product for the video. We start doing dances with like blowing up the balloons, like running around like kids like with the balloons, like things that relates to our industry but not really direct to advertise this. So we found that's really working. So that's one of the things that you can do at the very beginning. And then the other thing I would say, yeah, like hop on all the advertising social media platform, like one of the platform, find your funnel where your customer is can find you. And then the funnel works for us at the Google Ads. So a lot of people find our service and products on Google, but it might be different for your business. Might be TikTok for you, might be Instagram for you. You have to kind of just deploy the capital at small a step at a time to see which funnel that really fits your product, like where you can find your customers or your customers interested in finding you that funnel. It's really about it's like dating. Yeah.
Yeah, standing out in the entire industry is really hard for a small
Yeah.
business to work on it. And I do believe that you mentioned that you have to find your own customer base. What are they using?
Hmm.
I believe I think that what you also mentioned is like experiment. Do a lot of
Yes.
experiment. It's just like okay, you're not doing science, but you're doing the mental science of
Exactly. You got to go out there, try it. You don't know which one works, so you might as well just press every single button to see which one works and then double down on that button. Yeah.
yeah. There will be it will be a lot of work to do when we
Mhm.
start a business, but it have to be.
Yeah, you're like wearing multiple hats. Like I said, you're the social media marketing person, you're the delivery driver, you're the customer support, but then all of a sudden you become the store manager. It's a lot of multi hats that you have to wear. That's why it's like people were saying entrepreneurship isn't really easy. Like you can call yourself an entrepreneur, but when you go down to the trenches to for day-to-day operations, it's really, really hard.
Enjoy all the process is one of the biggest happiness of
Exactly.
being entrepreneur.
Exactly. Yeah.
So uh how do you feel that when you land your first big client or partnership, like you have 54 shops with retail shops located in London drugs. So how was that feel in your mind? How would like everything go through?
Yeah, that's a great question. It was a really fun experience. I would say it's a validation, but also with the pressure. So I will give you guys another background story. When I first reached out to London Drugs, it's we I didn't know anybody. Like I just start randomly finding people on LinkedIn, like on Google and stuff like that. You have to reach out to the right people. Usually these big box retailers are really hard to reach to the correct people. So I started messaging all the people in their firms, and then they would refer me to the correct person for contacting, like regards my proposal. At the very beginning, I was trying to propose them the party balloon service because I realized the London Drugs doesn't have any party supplies. And then back then we didn't go into the manufacturing yet. We had no product. We are just a service company. So I was approaching them, say, hey, like, why don't you guys, set up a little kiosk and then for us to come in, we're gonna do the service. We're gonna offer the customer helium balloons, and then we can possibly bundle the flowers as well. And then it took me 2 years. And when I received the email, it was a no email. They were like, they were saying, no, we're not really interested at this time. And when I immediately when I see that email, I told myself I don't take no as an answer. So I know I replied the email right away within the the next minute, because I know when someone really important is looking at the email, I gotta catch their attention. I gotta just reply right away. It's a cheeky way, but it's a scrappy entrepreneur way, if you guys want to learn that. So I replied the email within the next minute. I said, hey, wait a second. If I can't sell you the service, how about let's bring in the party products? Because I realize you guys don't have the party section, and then we are the expert. We have insider data of what color customer really like, what product really customer like. You guys gonna save a lot of margins, a lot of mistakes. And then that really opens up the conversation to, they said, okay, let's hop on our presentation, pitch to us. It's always about pitching. So then we prepared the pitch, like we had no idea about manufacturing. I don't even have any single products. We don't know about labeling. We don't know about packaging design. We had to learn that from day one. So it, like I said, it was a validation to our scrappy entrepreneurship. And but it's also the pressure. And then we realized it's not about getting the client, it's about keeping them. What I mean is we have to learn also how to build relationship with store managers, because they're carrying our products. It's a piloting program. We want to have great sales. We want people to pay attention. We want them to help us put the product at the beginning of the store. So it's a lot of learning lessons for us, but I would say really had a lot of pressure, but really fun at the same time, because that's a real purpose of how you're building a business, successful business. And then I enjoy every single step, because I had to grow up quickly because my business is growing, and then I had to grow as a person as well.
I really like your little tips about reply, even though they say no to you, you have to reply the email immediately. I think
Yeah.
this is catch them attention immediately.
Exactly. Sometimes you just gotta be like, I would say like scrappy, right? Like we are all humans again at the end of the day. We all go to bed, we all wake up, we're all humans. So you gotta just be very scrappy entrepreneurs to get things done.
Yeah, you cannot only always focus on how to go get things right. It's also like
Hmm.
sideway and shortcuts you have to look for it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
yeah, from a one shop to a multi-city platform, what moment made you realize that, wow, that's really working?
Yeah, that's a good question. Made me think. Nowadays that we have so many customers, I realize, the simple way to answer your question is I have paying customers. That's the moment when I realize, oh, I have some things working. So like back to what I mentioned before, when if you are starting your business, go out there, get customers, try put it on, online, or like, ask, do like 100 customer service, see if people would actually pay for your service or product. When I see the other point that I'm gonna make is when I saw our team operating without me micromanaging, I know I got something working, because my vision is to scale this at a national level. I don't want to be in the day-to-day operations once I build the system. So I need to hire a team that believes in my company culture, believes in me as an entrepreneur, as a great leader for them. So I still remember a couple years ago, because my family is still in China, and I wanted to visit them really bad. But back then, when I didn't build a system, I couldn't leave the store, because day to day, I can't pull myself out of the day to day operations, because every day there are like new problems came out. So I had to quickly learn how to build a system, functional system for our team. I have to train them, and then I have to build an actual system for them to follow. So I built the system and then I tested out. I made mistakes and then they gave me great feedbacks, and then I iterate the system, and then I give let them try again, and then I show them how to do things, and then they repeat how to do things, and then they do it in front of me. So that system is built. So now after a few years later, once we, like we have the system going on, so I can pull myself out of the day-to-day operations and then to focus on a bird eye view, like overlooking the business operations and then develop business strategies to help us move the business more forward. So that's when I realized I have something is working.
Streamline the workflow and also onboarding the employees.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
really it's really like a big things for entrepreneurs to do. It's a step two for them
Hmm.
to grow the business. Otherwise, if you like keep on doing everything by yourself, it will like stress out. You
Yeah.
yourself will stress out a lot, and then that would be a really horrible thing to happen.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You have to have a team. Business, if you want to scale at a larger scale, it's not just one person show. Because back then, we're thinking, okay, I'm the delivery driver, I'm the customer service, I can do it all. But a team can be more efficient than just being one person because you can focus on different things. That's how large company is built. So you can do all the things. You can, make like, the salary from customer service, you being a delivery driver to save money and then just pay yourself. But at a certain level, if you want to build a bigger business, you have to hire the right people to do the right things.
I'm really curious on how you can like find the right person and also
Mm.
create a team culture for your own company.
Yeah, that's a really deep question. So I remember I think it was on my second year or third year into business where I had to go through a phase of hiring people, firing people, hiring people, firing people. I have to learn that really quickly because I didn't know what I was doing. Honestly, I didn't know what I was doing because people are because at the end of the day, I realized you need to find the people that love doing their job, especially at a startup. They have to understand, you have to, in the first day of the interviewing, you have to let them know you are a startup, and then you have to let them know what they are signing up for. Because at the startup phase, they're wearing multiple hats. It's not like you're working for Microsoft. I'm hiring you for $100,000 a year for salary, and then you're just solely your position is just helping me changing the color on the website. That's your role. It's not like that in the startup. You have to be the customer service. You have to be the marketing person. You have to be the store manager, help me solve problems. Where, like I enjoy hiring people that is the problem solver. If they can say, sure, they can come to me and say, Lily, this is the problem. This is the solution. I already handled it. Great. At the very beginning of the startup, build the culture. I think it's really important, especially you need to hire the people that resonate you, want to join together on the same journey with you because they can't just come here for a paycheck because that's a mistake that I was making before because I wasn't hiring the correct people that love balloons. You have to love balloons, love creating this special experience for customers. That's how you can, give better customer service to my customer. Because if you just, you don't like the job, you don't enjoy making balloons, then every day you come here, like it's not a happy environment for you. That's what I realized. I had to learn it in a hard way, but now I'm happy with my team. All my team is working. I hadn't have to deal with the firing for a long time. I have a great working team and then just expanding, expanding, expanding. So yeah, so company culture is very important since day one.
Yeah, having passionate employee is really a
Yeah.
big. things for employers.
Yeah.
If you don't have this kind of employee, they will like just like earn do whatever they hourly paid have to
Yeah.
pay for.
Yeah, like they wouldn't go above and beyond, right? Because what I had to realize is the two difference. I can give a scenario sample was I hired, for example, the person A and then person B, and then person A, like they just come to 9 to 5 job, does what you said you require them to do, doesn't really think, oh, this is maybe we can help improve over here because this is what customers said. How about I give you a little bit feedback and then you as a founder of the company, this is what you need to develop. They don't go above and beyond, and then they don't go above and beyond serve your customers, and then you would have like a mad customer or pissed off customer not having a great experience. But the when I hire person B, she really likes or him really enjoying like making balloons or like planning for customers or really bubbly like to like making contents. Like that's when I realized they would go above and beyond out of their working hours. They would have come to you and say, hey Lily, like I today in the store or today on the phone, I had this customer was telling me, oh, we should change this on the website because it will enhance the user experience. And said, great, that's a great feedback. Like that's all I need from a team A, like because at the very beginning you don't have money to hire A players because all the A players have higher salaries. You can't afford that. So you hire the regular players, but they have to resonate with your company culture. And then wants to join this startup journey with you. You have to let them know how the journey is gonna look like. It's gonna be a bumpy road. It's not like a straightforward road. And yeah, you gotta let them know what they're signing up for.
Yeah, by that said, employer loyalty is really important.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know how, just now you also mentioned you have to retain customer. How can you
Mm-hmm.
like, literally build the customer loyalty and how, after you build it, what's the big difference you feel like?
Yeah, customer loyalty it's a we can talk about it for days. So, but to summarize in one sentence is you have to people will remember how you make them feel. It's not about what you give them. So in for example, in our industry, it's not about the balloons. It's about the experience. Like how you treat them. It's a special day they're celebrating. For example, a birthday, anniversary, weddings day, proposal, or Mother's Day or whatsoever. It's about the experience that you give to the customer to make them feel memorable, feel happy, feel joyful. It's not really just about the product, but may be different in some other industries. But in our industry, that's a lesson that we have to learn. And at the very beginning, we also handwritten notes to every single order. We tends to remember customers' name and their birthdays in our system, and then we set up a automatic reminder to ourselves, and then we personally reach out to them because you want to build your brand reputation as well. Because one customer is not equal one customer. One customer is equal multiple customers. If you serve them with a great like experience, they will be the cheerleader of your brand. So that's when we realize, like that's how, Starbucks write your name on the cup, and they really make you feel like, wow, like I'm being like, something special. So that's how we started at the very beginning, and it just had a butterfly effect. People really feel like we are a small business, want to support logo, and we care in return, we care about them. Business is a business, but at the end of the day, it's building relationships again. It's really building the community for your customer, build your brand, and yeah, put all your customer together.
I do understand what you say. I used to also receive notes from other company when I buy a
Mm-hmm.
product, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
really warm as a customer. So I
Mm-hmm.
understand how you like want to build a small connection bit by bit instead of like rushing them to all to come to join us like as a
Mm-hmm.
membership. I
Mm-hmm.
know what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to go step by step, one small step at a time. It's at the very beginning, it seems really slow steps. You want to be like maybe you want to be like, oh, I want to have like 100,000 customers like just next day. Like some business can be like that overnight, but most of the business are built day by day, like one customer at a time. And yeah.
Yeah, I believe that you already have a strong customer base, and they will come to you, come back to you if whenever they have any party and any birthday, they will come back to you. So after you have a lot of customer, what do you mean by success? Do you think you're a success now, or you want to have more improvement later?
Um, I would say success to me right now is, you know, a lot of people start the entrepreneurship because they can have freedom. They can skip the 9 to 5. But at the very beginning, until now, like until the end of the road, it's life is not like that. You have to sometimes work like 14 hours a day. You have to work 20 hours a day. You have to like stay all nighter, like do whatever it takes. But I guess like now means I have freedom to solve bigger problems together with better people. So I really enjoying that. And I used to think it was about money, but it still are. I wanna make a lot of money, but it's about leverage and impact. I want to build something impactful and then to bring joy to people, delivering. I have a mission to complete. Our mission is trying to celebrate 100 million birthdays for 100 million people. So every single day that I remind myself that is a goal, that is a vision, and I'm working one step closer to the goal each day. And then these are the things what I have to do. And then yeah, like the success to me right now is just you need to be proud of how you got here because you have to reflect on give yourself because entrepreneurship again it's a lonely ride and then it's really hard sometimes and fun at the same time. But you will have up and downs like a roller coaster. But at the end of the day, you have to remind yourself, why am I doing this? Why? What's the reason why? And then you have to reflect on yourself about milestones, small wins, like each day, because like it's again, it's a really lonely journey, and but it's a really fun at the same time.
Yeah, starting your business, if you forget who you are and what you want to do,
Yeah,
you will always lost track on everything.
yeah.
So having your clear when you start your business, building a clear mission and purpose is the main first step you have to navigate it.
Yes.
So um would you give if you could give if your past self a piece of advice, what when you were just starting, what would it be? You can also give a advice for all the audience here to yeah.
Hmm. I would say don't be scared to start your business. If you just have an idea, go ahead for it. Try it out. Try to find the product market fit, right? But on the other side, you have to understand it's risk reward. It's like a gambling, right? There's no guarantee that your business is going to be successful, and then you have to know when to stop. So a lot of people go into the business, they have, oh my God, I have this really, really awesome idea, really, really great. I think it's gonna make millions, billions of dollars. But then they raise capital and then they just people telling them to stop and then their business doesn't have people paying customers. And it's just really about themselves believing in their dream, which is okay at the very beginning. But after a period of time, you see consistent patterns and maybe after a year, after a second year, or maybe you give yourself 3 years runways, right? Whatever, how long. And if you don't really see the product market fit, I will say you need to pivot your business model or you need to shift to something else. But I would say The other advice, I got three advice. The first one is you don't have to get it right at the first time. You just have to get it going. So a lot of people that have this mentality say, "Hey, I have these great ideas," talk about it all day, and they just don't do it. That when it comes to execution, it's really important to, you gotta do it. You gotta start doing it. Even just a one small step at a time. People say, I have this great idea of selling jewelries. Okay, I can design really great jewelries, but you don't, where's your customers? Like, do you have a website built already? If you don't know how to build a website, maybe start learning how to build a website, or if you have the budget to hire somebody to build a website. I would say like the baby step, like each day is really important. Just get it going on no matter what, like one thing at a time. And then I would say the second point is um every business looks really ugly behind the scenes. It's really normal. Don't feel like you're alone. There's a lot of accelerators like the one that we are right now. There's a lot of like-minded. Find the people that you enjoy spending time with, right? I don't really believe, like I'm right now, I'm 20, this year I'm 29. I don't believe at the early 20s life work balance is a thing. I think it's BS because if you're trying to build something impactful, there's no work-life balance. But you have to be able to, stay healthy, stay active. If you like, have too much pressure, just, start listening to podcasts, music, 5 minutes, whatever way that you find how to relax yourself. It's a mentality. You need mentorship. But besides that, you have to um be able to ready to accept these challenges because it's like I said, it's a really bumpy road. Maybe today you're super happy, you land a deal with a big retailer. Maybe next day your whole business model needs to be changed. It's a unpredictable until you run till the finish line, but it's a fun ride. And then lastly, I would say you will never feel ready, so start anyway. So you will never feel ready. Like I said, I didn't start with a really structural business plan. I didn't have any of that. I just, like because in my mind, I'm the type of person is if I don't have a paying customer, I still have to change things. Nowadays, we still pivoting our business model because I listen to my customer. You have to listen to your customer because customer are the one that are paying you for your product or your service, right? So your business model, it needs to be built on your customer community, whatever they need. If you see a pattern, how customers purchasing, what product is hot, then try to develop in that area because then you have a product market fit, right? So that's the three things that I would have for anybody that's trying to start a business.
Yeah, the couple advice is really motivating us, and I think like this is ultimate goal for everyone to when they look for it, they cannot
Mhm.
just like start and like stressing themselves. They have to like stop and look back a bit
Yes.
so they can like refresh and review personally.
Yes, exactly. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Yeah.
So networking is important.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I have the last question. I'm curious to know because you mentioned you are already developed your business to US. So I want to know how the US tariff have impacted the work given the present in LA and how to navigate that as a business owner.
Yeah, so the tariff is a big thing that's going on right now, but I feel like that's a lesson for everyone in small business or a larger business, even to learn a lesson is you have to build backup plans. So to rely just solely on one manufacturing origin, like for example, only from China, if your product is only sourcing from China, that's not, you have no backup plan when the tariff hits, like it's gonna be a bad plan. But what we have to learn It's not really affecting us because we have local supplier as well, and we are shipping from Canada to the States as well. So we have a lot of it's and then we are not really shipping like containers, but we also have relationship with local suppliers, like I mentioned. But what we have to learn is you have to build out backup plans. Like for example, right now we are looking into manufacturing in the Philippines, like Mexico's. You have to be able to open up your eyes, not just again, working with one relationship is not good enough. You have to have backup plan as a business owner because you don't know what's the weather tomorrow. Is it gonna rain? Is it gonna be sunny? You don't know what's going on tomorrow, right? So that's I think that's one of the lesson that Trump has taught everyone to have a backup plan, be able to, have A, B, C, like ways to run your business. Yeah.
Yeah, backup plan is for everything is really important. I understand it.
Yeah. And then our US market is like actually, we launched in Los Angeles for about a year ago. We took the same playbook where we had in Vancouver into the US market. That's the first US city that we gone to. And it's a completely different market. So even if it's the same business, same product, same service, it's completely different in different market. And then you can see the momentum is different in the different market. Customer demands is different, and it's just very different. We have to pivot. And but it was a really fun journey ride to, we get to see a lot of celebrity, how they're celebrating, and then we get to join that journey. It was a really fun ride for us. We are still learning how to penetrate the US market, but I think there is a lot of business down the States. And so if you're starting a business, definitely look into the US market. That is a correct way to go, but you have to do it very strategically.
Yeah, thank you for your advice on going to US strategically.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us today, and from your early step before the one up and becoming a co-founder and building something that really is meaningful to you. It has been a really inspiring to hear about all the challenges and all the moments that you have suffered and experienced.